So for dinner tonight, we are doing beer-braised pork chops with sweet potatoes and mixed vegetables. I am talking to myself, thank you. I have already scrubbed these guys, so I am going to prick them all over with a fork. And I'm going to come over here to the oven and I'm going to set it to 425. Next, we're going to cut this guy up. So I'm only cutting up half of this guy because I'm going to save this other half for a pot roast that I'm making later this week. So this, we're just going to slice up. Now we're going to take some of this olive oil here and put a little bit in the pan. And we're going to heat that to medium heat and we're going to cook those onions in there. So I actually got a lot of pork chops here. So I'm going to put half of my onions in one skillet and half of them in another. So I've got 2 skillets right now heating up to medium heat. And I am going to go ahead and put my sweet potatoes in the oven for 45 minutes. They're cooking at 425. So while my pans are heating up, I am going to put some salt and seasoning on these pork chops. I've got garlic salt, and then I have this Grill Master's Sweet and Smoky Rub. My pans got hot pretty fast, so we put the onions in the skillets, and we're just going to let those cook until they get tender. We'll stir them every couple minutes. So while those are cooking, I will season my pork chops over here. So my onions got a little bit crispy while I was seasoning my pork chops. But they are out of the pans. They are now set to the side in this little bowl. And then we're going to take our pork chops that are all seasoned now. And they're going to go into these skillets. And I believe, I'll tell you in a minute how long I cooked them for. I've got to look at my little recipe again. Added a little bit more oil to my pans. And these pork chops are going to go in here for 3 minutes on each side, so 6 minutes total. Sorry if you can't hear me. My toddler is throwing a tantrum. Right. These guys are in the skillet cooking. I've got 3 minutes, 2 minutes now on my timer. Okay, these guys are flipped. They're going for another 3 minutes. And I'm getting my beer ready over here. We're going to put a 3/4 cup of beer into each skillet. So I've got 3/4 cup poured out right now for one skillet, and then I'll have to pour the other for the other skillet. Trying to cook with this child screaming for no reason. He's fine. He's perfectly fine. He's just being mad. Okay, it's been 6 minutes total, so I am going to spoon my or fork, I guess, my onions on top of my pork chops. Then we'll pour a 3/4 cup of beer around the pork chops, and we will heat that until the beer boils. Alright, there's my pork chops with my onions, and here's my beer, and it is going in the pan. I'm going to pour a little bit on top of the pork chops here, just so they get a little bit more beer flavor. There's one, and then that actually boiled pretty fast, if you can tell. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce this heat to low. And we're going to cover that up with a lid. Boom. Right, we got these all covered now. I've destroyed my stove. You can see all the oil on there. So that is simmering, and we're going to do that for 45 minutes. There we go. Now we wait. So we've got 45 minutes on the pork chops right now, and I've got 20-ish minutes on my sweet potatoes. So my sweet potatoes might be, I don't know, hanging out for a little bit, I guess. All right, it has been 45, probably more like 50 minutes because I took some time after the timer beeped. That these have been simmering in the beer. So I'm going to take 2 and put them on our plates over here with the sweet potatoes, which are done. And the rest will go in this to-go container. And then we're going to leave the juice in there, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. Okay, now that all the pork chops are out of there, I'm going to take all of this juice from this skillet, and it's going to go in here. Okay, now with all this juice in here, I'm going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of flour to this. I increased the heat to medium, and we're just going to whisk that in. We are whisking this until it's smooth. And then we are done. This will be our gravy for our pork chops. We'll add some mixed veggies, which were in a steamable bag that are already microwaved and done, to our plate, and we'll be finished.